Ain't no stopping, ain't no stopping, ain't no stopping now. They can't stop me, they can't stop me, they can't stop me now. I'm not dropping, I'm not dropping, I'm not dropping down. I'ma keep climbing the mountain till I touch the clouds. Ain't no stopping, ain't no stopping, ain't no stopping now. They can't stop me, they can't stop me, they can't stop me now. Ain't no dropping, ain't no dropping, ain't no dropping down. I'ma keep climbing the mountain till I touch the clouds.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Chasing Planes podcast. I'm your host, BraedenV. We're going to start today by talking about a smash hit song and the story behind it. Then we're going to talk a bit about inspiration, and we'll finish off with some thoughts about a new song I'm working on. The first segment of our show is about Heat Waves by Glass Animals. It's also a segment about how life fuels our art and can take it to unexpected places. I first read about Heat Waves by Glass Animals back in January of 2021 in an article entitled something to the extent of the top 10 most underrated albums of 2020 as determined by our readers. Now, I can't pretend that I knew right away that Glass Animals and their lead single Heat Waves would lead to such a breakout success and a number one record, but I was one of the adopters of the record after previewing it during my initial read-through of the article. 2 years later, plus, Glass Animals are getting the spotlight they deserved, and good for them. The story of their album is a tragic but beautiful one. You see the infectious pop beats and electronica sounds that helped push the album Dreamland to such successes were a matter of necessity to create the record. The band's drummer, Joe Seward, had suffered a broken leg and complex skull fracture after being hit by a truck while cycling. Hospital-ridden for weeks following the crash, the band had no idea if the drummer would survive, much less rejoin their band. Lead singer-songwriter Dave Bailey ended up producing most of the record himself, writing it and making the electronic beats using software on his laptop. This to me is the synthesis of why this album is so powerful. There's a story attached to it, and it's a story that I'm happy to say has a happy ending. Drummer Joe Seward made a brilliant recovery and has since returned to perform with his band. The other story to this album, to me, is how necessity shaped the sound of the record. We would not have gotten Dreamland had the tragic accident not occurred. The album itself, a shiny electro-pop indie record dripping with nostalgia, would not have touched so many people the same way had they not been locked in their homes during the pandemic and longing for a past life that seemed long gone. The choice of using electronic drums and the band being largely unable to record in a conventional sense led to something completely unexpected for the band, and a record-breaking and historic rise to the top of the Billboard charts followed, as well as one of the most iconic and popular songs of the new decade. The release of Dreamland has arguably reinvigorated a genre, created a new aesthetic and art style within music, and there's something to this that I can relate to. I only began writing and performing hip-hop as a quote-unquote rapper out of necessity. I wanted originally to play music in a rock band. I wanted to work with others on music. I didn't want to be the guy running the whole show. I just wanted to sing. But once I decided that I had to create a body of work in order to have the credentials to work with others, it was necessary for me to create an avenue where I could perform and release music without depending on others to show up to practices. So I started making beats and working on a style of music that I could perform alone, just me and a microphone if I have to. Similar to Dave Bailey, using my laptop, I made beats and instrumentals and started writing on top of them the groundwork of what would become my initial album release. The beautiful part of this is that necessity led me to places I never expected. I ended up receiving a Music PEI Award nomination for my work. It led me to gaining many skills and doing many things outside my comfort zone, and it transformed me overall as a person. I'm not the same guy I was before the pandemic, before the BraedenV EP came out in the summer of 2020. I didn't realize that it would change me as much as it did going through the process. But I'm happy because the necessity led me to somewhere I couldn't have imagined. And that's what Chasing Planes is. It's starting on a journey where you don't know the destination. It's going after something out of reach because it's meaningful to you, to your life and your journey in this life. So go chase your planes and see where it takes you. So to end this segment, I'm going to make a prediction. I believe that Heat Waves will retain its spot in the top 10 of the Billboard charts throughout the summer. Don't expect it to drop off until the end of August, and you can quote me on that.
We're gonna take flight. I'm chasing planes to the blue skies. I'm chasing planes to the good life. So I'm bringing you a different flow. Gotta change the game up, nothing stays the same forever, no. They ain't heard about me yet, I think it's time I let them know. No one else is in my lane, why would I go and take it slow? Never been as high as this, but
There's times in any artistic pursuit, whether it's music or writing or whatever you may do, where inspiration comes out of nowhere unexpectedly fast. These moments are what creatives yearn for. The alpha brain flow state where you feel like you're channeling the art rather than creating it yourself in a laborious fashion. It's really a feeling like no other. In music, especially hip-hop, the inspiration to write in particular comes when we hear the instrumental for the most part. Now, I am speaking in general here. When the beat hits and we feel our body react physically to the sounds, we bob our heads, tap our feet. Artists will start freestyling and coming up with cadences right on the spot. This is because we're feeling it right in that moment, and we know we can make something with that track when we have that feeling. The best songs, at least in my opinion, my best songs, have come from this initial moment where you try to grab those first ideas and phrases and themes from the atmosphere of the music. You try to grab words from the ether that capture the essence of that feeling, like bottling sonic gold. But most of the time, inspiration is a slower burn. The initial rush or buzz from hearing that new track can fade quickly, and some tracks are just a little bit more work. I've had songs that took me over a month to write because I just didn't have all the words, all the motivation, or the inspiration. I'm big on letting things gestate for a little while, forcing things I feel can be beneficial to a point, but then it can also lead to a suffering in quality. It's up to the artist to be self-aware. Some artists don't labor over lyrics the way I do, but for those who do, they understand all too well what it's like to be so close to finishing a song, but needing to sit on it and let it stew a bit while you figure out the right phrase or words or melody to make it just right. I've gone to lengths to take my mind entirely off the project because stressing about it usually hasn't helped my process. I recall one time when I decided to take an hour break and play some video games to get my mind off the music, and within 20 minutes of gaming, something in my head clicked and I suddenly knew exactly how to wrap up a chorus that had me stuck for well over a month. The song in question is called Ghost, and it's one of my highest rated tracks to date. Ghost is a sleeper, one of those songs I released and haven't really promoted fully as of yet. Come closer to Halloween, expect to see some content around Ghost showing up on my channels. I'm working on a new track, but I haven't named it yet. It's one of the more aggressive style beats that I've used to date. I'd compare it to my collab song Back on Beat that I did with Spivvy and Prototype. Shout out to those two dope rappers, by the way. Make sure to check them out, follow them, show some love on their pages if you can, because they deserve way more eyes and ears on their art than they get. That's Spivvy and Prototype. Anyways, this new song won't be out for a few months. I've got a song called Nothing Left that I've been waiting to record for a while, so I'm going to get that done first and get it out to you guys in the next month and a half or 2 months max. I'm going to really take my time on this other track that I'm working on right now. As I said, it's currently unnamed. I'll drop a snippet of it so you guys can check it out. As you can tell, it's got this kind of string section and dramatic bottom end bass line. It's a bit grandiose and cinematic. Considering this is an intro for the album, it really seems like it's a good track for me to show off my skill set with the faster rap I've been working on. I get to play with the attitude on this track a bit. Something that's fun for me. I get to kind of flex and feel bold on a beat like this. I picked it specifically because I wanted to grab people's attention when I perform live. Something to open with that'll really pull people in. I try to keep as modest as I can with my art, but I do believe I have some of the better production work on my tracks in the local scene. Don't misinterpret that now. It doesn't mean my music's better. It just kind of sucks, actually, because it means I spend more money on my songs than most other artists do at my level, and that's for better or worse, because it also means I can't take a step back or the quality will be noticeably lower. I've experimented with simpler beats and less production, and sure enough, the tracks don't end up received as well, so the proof is in the pudding. My thought is that if I really ensure I have unique top-end production, standout beat selection, along with the power of my own pen, I can really create a potent combination. And I think the songs speak for themselves when they're all said and done. I still listen to Good Life once in a while, and I'm so proud of that song. The production really takes you to another place. Shout out to Ghost and Adam Galland, who helped co-produce the track with me. Those guys are absolute legends. I could never have made the Chasing Planes EP without those two men's genius work. Those are absolute wizards. I give them as much credit as I can, and I gave them as much as I could to work with, and they helped take things not just to the next level, but like 10 levels higher than I ever thought it would be. I'm kind of getting off track, but anyways, this new song I'm working on, it's gonna be fun because I don't tend to flex on my rap songs too much. I don't like to brag too much. The braggadocio kind of style of rap, it's fun, but to me it's not. It lacks something, and so I don't like to focus my art on it. But once in a while, we're all humans, and I think it's important to show many sides of who I am. And there's a side of me that does like to be bold once in a while, and does like to get a little overconfident and have fun and talk a little shit or whatever.
No one ever gave me help, never asked for no advice. The doubts don't shake me now because I know that I'm not the type. Doesn't bother me at all. I kick back, relax, spark the light. I'm back up on this beat, vibing out my own way. I've been out here chasing planes, driving in my own lane. Since I turned up on the scene, been changing up the whole game. We got different points of view, but I've been getting more shade. Caught the sounds of the block from pen and pad into the stage. Went all in to make a splash, I'm hoping I can catch a wave. Blaming me for chasing dreams, boy I got a soul to save. Don't like how the story ends, so I rewrote.
That's a snippet from my song Vibe Check. Vibe Check got its instrumental version playlisted on Spotify, so the version that doesn't have my voice on it gets about 5 times as many plays as the version that you heard a bit of there. It's actually one of my top played songs on Spotify. But that's cool to me. I mean, getting any playlist is great, instrumental or otherwise. Obviously, I think my lyrics are important to me, but with that track in particular, actually, it's called lo-fi, is the subgenre of hip-hop that song is, and lo-fi has millions and millions of listeners. Lo-fi music is essentially the millennial answer to elevator music. It's like chill out music, very relaxed, very doesn't demand your attention. It's not very complex. Anyways, it's kind of chill stuff that can sit in the background. You don't have to pay too much attention to it. So lo-fi is a massive genre that a lot of people don't even know exists, but it's brilliant. It's super chilled out, super relaxing. And so I wanted to make a track that was a lo-fi beat and put some vocals over top of it, because lo-fi sometimes does. There's an entire genre of lo-fi that has vocals, but there's an even larger side of it that doesn't have any vocals, unless they're like chopped or sampled vocals. Anyways, the key is I wanted to make a song using a lo-fi beat because I thought it was cool. That simple. And yeah, this beat has like an interesting bridge right in the middle section. There's a lighter flick that kind of transitions the beat into the second half of the song, which is a bit higher tempo. It's very slightly up tempo compared to the beginning. And I think we'll wrap on that note for today, guys. I'll see you next week for episode 3, where I'll start song breakdowns and our first track of the week. So I can't wait to share that with you guys, and we'll start doing some deep dives real soon into the music. And I'm really appreciative. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. I look forward to the future. The next year is going to be really exciting, fun, and interesting. I don't know where it's going to take us, but I'm excited. I've got a lot of really good things going for me in life, and I'm very grateful. And all the stresses that are coming along with working on this album, slow going as it is, they're all part of the process, and I'm just happy to be where I'm at.
Looking at my phone, wishing it'll start ringing. Don't know what I want, but I'll know it when I get it. Don't know where the plane's going, but I bought the ticket. If something isn't broken, don't bother trying to fix it. I thought we had a good thing, but we didn't. Wow. And I know we haven't spoken in a while. I hope that you know that I miss your smile. I pray that you're living wild like you always were just as a child. Don't ever let this crazy world bring you down. Don't know where I'm going, I've been gone for a minute. It used to be a dream, then I woke up, now I live it. I hope that one day you might start to finally get it. So say bye-bye, live so fast you blink and miss it. Sometimes I think of you and I wish I didn't. I never let you go see you, I'll admit it. Tonight I'm just sitting here alone, I'm reminiscing. Looking at my phone, wishing it'll start ringing.